Hey guys, I just wanted to say before we jump on into the main video, thank you guys so much for the continued growth and support of my channel, especially over this last month or so. It's hard to believe that by the middle of February, I was only sitting at 80 subscribers, and now here we are at the 5th of March, Tuesday morning. I'm now sitting at 1,716 subscribers, which is just mind-boggling to me to see that kind of growth over that short of a time period, and I'm just blown away, humbled, and just really appreciative of the fact that it jumped that much. I was honestly expecting my year-end goal to be 100 subscribers, and here we are at 17. We're closer to 2,000 than I am closer to 100 at this point, so I'm just really appreciative of that. I originally meant to film this little blip at the 1,000 subscriber mark, but just things kind of got away from me. Next week I know I'm at 12, 14. Yesterday morning I sat down to film this at exactly 1,500 on the dot, but this video did take the course of 2 days to put together, so here we are at 1,716 subscribers. I am just very, very thankful for that. Anyways, let's jump on into the main event, the main reason why you're here, the Articuno video. Let's go. Today, we're hitting the Regulation F ranked ladder with this Articuno and Alolan Ninetales team. And hopefully this is a sign, because Articuno actually just won the special event out in Utrecht in the Netherlands. So hopefully some good luck is going to be on my side here. So what are we doing with the team? Well, we have Articuno here with the hidden ability Snow Cloak, which raises its evasion in the snow, and we have the bright powder item, which lowers the accuracy of the opponent's Pokemon. So what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to make Articuno unkillable by making it unhittable. Now obviously Articuno will be taking some damage in this video, but on that note, we're going to try to reduce that as much as possible as well, because the ice type naturally gains a 50% boost to its physical defense stat in the snow, and I have Aurora Veil on the Alolan Ninetales, which sets both Reflect and Light Screen at the same time, and we have a Light Clay on the Ninetales to make sure that instead of getting 5 turns of Aurora Veil, we're going to be getting 8. So in theory, Articuno is going to come to the field. It's going to be incredibly bulky on the physical side, and the Aurora Veil is just going to help reduce the special attacks that are coming its way as well. And then from there, Articuno is going to be clicking either Blizzard or Freeze Dry to do as much ice type damage as possible. We have the Freeze Dry there to land super effective hits into water type Pokemon, and then we have the Blizzard just to spam and do as much damage as possible. And then finally we have Haze on Articuno. So if my opponent is getting set up, or if I'm in a situation where I've been dropping Draco Meteors left, right, and center with the Raging Bolt and taking special attack drops, or, you know, Parting Shot from Incineroar, we can click the Haze, and then all stat boosts or stat drops just gone. That's going to be a nice little bit of support tech on the Articuno right there. So as I mentioned here, we have the Aurora Veil on the Ninetales. We do have some Icy Wind for a little bit of speed control on the team here, because this is not the fastest team out there, and we don't have Tailwind, so we do have that Icy Wind. We have Ice Shard here, as well as Shadow Sneak on the Dusclops, and those are both specifically meant to set off the weakness policy on my Metagross. So we can either pop the Tera Flying on Metagross, make it weak to ice type attacks, and then hit it with an Ice Shard, get the weakness policy, or we just go Dusclops and Metagross in base form, and then click the Shadow Sneak to hit the weakness policy. And then that way Metagross hits +2 into its attack, and then it can just do as much damage as possible with its Iron Head, Psychic Fangs, or Knockoff. We have Raging Bolt here with a little bit of priority with the Thunderclap. We have Thunderbolt for some raw damage. We have Snarl for a little bit of special attacking support, and then that way we can lower our target's special attack stats. And as I mentioned, we do have the Draco Meteor for raw damage, and the Haze will undo those drops. And then we have Urshifu here with Tera Dark to just amplify both Wicked Blow and Sucker Punch, and close combat will naturally dent things anyways. So that's the team in a nutshell. Let's jump on into some battles. Alright, we got Whimsicott, Terrakion, Landorus, Fluttermane, Farigiraf, and Metagross. So we could potentially see a Trick Room mode or a Tailwind mode from my opponent, so what does that mean for me? Having the Bright Powder on Articuno and the Snow Cloak go up wouldn't be the worst thing imaginable. The Metagross might be a slight problem, though. But, that said, Urshifu could be nice. Urshifu might be nice here. So maybe what we'll do is we will go Ninetales and Ursh. I think we bring Articuno in the back. Dusclops being able to burn Metagross and Terrakion could be really nice, especially since there could be the beat-up strategy going on there, so that might be handy. I do like Raging Bolt, but I'm a little bit scared of the Landorus, so what do I want to do? I think, since I do have the Tera flying on the Metagross, I think we'll bring that just in case. And then that way, if we hit a situation we don't like, we can always switch Urshifu out into Metagross. Kind of wish I had U-turn on it, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. We want that double dark damage as well, so I'd rather not drop close combat or detect, but I could always switch Urshifu up to a Choice Scarf. Let's see. It is Terrakion and Whimsicott. Alright, so I definitely do not like that, but what we can do is we can try to go for the Aurora Veil, and I don't think they have Tera Ghost. So a close combat might be okay. They might do something different, like maybe Terrastallize away from the rock typing. Yeah, we're going to see an instant Tera, but I don't think it's going to be Tera Ghost. And if it is, I mean Wicked Blow. Okay. Yeah. Alright. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Alright. Where's the beat up? That's fine. We can always go for a Sucker Punch into Terrakion. The nice thing here is Ninetales is... Oh! That's cute. Oh. +6 attack. Okay. That's one way of getting your Terrakion set up, that's for sure. At least I'm focus sashed on the Urshifu. I'm not gonna get this close combat. Yeah, so guess I could have Wicked Blowed that thing, but it is what it is. So we get the Aurora Veil up. Here comes the Rock Slide. Ninetales doesn't live that, but Urshifu does. So what we could do is we can bring in the Raging Bolt. Or, no, we brought the Metagross. We can bring in the Metagross here. We can always still Iron Head the Whimsicott. The nice thing here, too, was we did survive the... Rock Slide with Urshifu with more than half our HP, so... That's fine, because, you know, we are an Urshifu. So, we're going to get that Wicked Blow off into the Terrakion, and then we can get some huge damage. So, that's just gone. Their setup's just null and void. We can go for some more damage into the Whimsicott with the Metagross here, with the Iron Head. So, nothing wrong with that. So, I do like getting that big damage off. No Focus Sash either, so that must have been Covert Cloak to avoid Fake Out, but there's half my opponent's team gone. Suddenly, I feel a lot more validated. But yeah, the Terrakion was cool to see. The Tera Ghost beat up is also nice tech. I was looking at that myself for something, so... Well, not the weakness policy, I mean the Terrakion in general. But I like seeing that Metagross, or not the Metagross, I mean, I like to see my own Metagross. But what I want to do here is I want to go Tera Flying, and I want to hit that Landorus with a knockoff, and we're just going to Wicked Blow the Farigiraf. And then this way we'll dodge an Earth Power on the off chance they called a Tera on me and went Sludge Bomb into Metagross. I should be okay. We'll remove their item, and then that way Landorus is going to have less damage, and we could maybe sneak in a Blizzard before the snow ends with Articuno. So that's not too bad at the end of the day. So my Urshifu is going to probably get outsped by the Landorus, which means Okay. Well, Metagross is going to avoid this. We get the knockoff into Farigiraf now, so we can click the Blizzard with the Articuno. Yeah. Ally switch. Not what I had wanted to see, but at least we remove the Citrus Berry from that. And this thing is just not going to appreciate a Blizzard. So Articuno is going to get to come in here, and we're going to click that Blizzard. How many turns of snow do we have left? 2. Nice. And we also have the Aurora Veil still going on. So, at the end of the day, clicking knockoff is not the worst thing imaginable. So, we can still get some good damage, and I don't mind removing the item. They're going to protect Landorus, that's fine. They have to be able to survive another turn of Blizzard. So, Metagross and Articuno are just going to eat that up. So, we're going to get the Blizzard off into the Farigiraf, and then we can go for another Blizzard. So, we knock out the Farigiraf. Now it's just Landorus. Metagross is in a very nice position, and Articuno is too. So, Landorus is 4 times weak to Ice-type attacks, so there you go. Communication with the other trainer was interrupted. Gee, I wonder why. Anyways, that worked out pretty good at the end of the day for me. Good game to my opponent. Alright. Yuki here has a Sun team with Torkoal and Lilligant. The Carbink is interesting because we'll probably see some guard split. Iron Hands and King Gambit could be a little bit sketchy, but at the end of the day, not the worst thing imaginable. What we could do is we could lead with Ninetales in the back, maybe go Urshifu and Dusclops in the front, and then we can always bring Ninetales out for one or the other, set the snow if they lead Torkoal, and then we go from there. Urshifu Torkoal might have been a bad example, but that's the main idea. We could go Raging Bolt Urshifu, and then that way we get the raw offensive power behind Raging Bolt, and if my opponent goes Torkoal Lilligant, well, I could Thunderclap that Torkoal. So we could do that. I think we'll bring the Urshifu and the Raging Bolt right here. We'll bring the Articuno in the back, and we'll bring the Ninetales. So that doesn't look too bad, but at the same time, do I want Metagross? I don't know. Articuno hasn't let me down yet, so let's try it. Let's try it that way. And see. I don't mind clicking the Freeze Dry, and plus, I do have the Haze tech for Raging Bolt, so that could be a nice thing as well. So, it is going to be Lilligant and Torkoal. Oh, perfect. Just what I wanted to see. So, because Raging Bolt is so much slower than well, it's slower than Lilligant, but it's not slower than Torkoal. I like the idea of still going for that Thunderclap, and I like the idea of just switching in the Ninetales immediately. And then this way, we can change the Sun to Snow, no Chlorophyll for Lilligant. If they just go Sleep Powder, that's a little rougher for me, but I don't mind bringing in Ninetales here and then just pivoting out the Sun in for the Snow. If Ninetales survives, we get the Aurora Veil. That's going to be very handy, and this is going to be, that's huge damage into Torkoal because it's a crit. But there's the After You into Torkoal, so it's still faster. But they went Heat Wave. Man, that's a strong Torkoal. Alright. So, we're going to Thunderclap you again, and we're just going to go for the Ice Shard into the Lilligant, and then just potentially break a Focus Sash, and then that way we can just try to deal with that. So, well, I phrased that weird, but anyways, we'll try to make it a little bit more manageable that way with the Ninetales. We don't get our Aurora Veil up, but at the end of the day, I'm more than willing to try to get this Torkoal off the field. Just do some major damage. Perfect. They switched that out. So maybe they went Sleep Powder into Raging Bolt, which means Ninetales should be able to do something. So Cresselia comes in. Great. We'll get our Ice Shard off. That's a nice little chunk. We do lose our Thunderclap. Oh, they just close combat the Ninetales. Alright. I see that. And plus now, they can always switch the Sun back in. And if they do, well, now I get my Photosynthesis boost. So not the worst thing imaginable. And I really like the fact that they just put Cresselia right in front of an Urshifu. I don't know about you guys, but I really like that. So we're going to click the Wicked Blow into that, and I think I'm just going to go for the Draco Meteor right into the Hisuian Lilligant. Now, Cresselia could potentially pop a Fairy Tera, which would resist my Urshifu, but good damage into that thing is still good damage at the end of the day. So we can do that. So here it comes. It's got to be something that resists Dark. So it is actually the Fire Tera. Sweet. Alright. So Wicked Blow is still going to do a good chunk of damage. And now I have the possible close combat to hit this thing with. So Raging Bolt's just going to eat that up. We're going to Draco that thing and just get rid of it. And then that way, if Trick Room goes up, we can always switch Raging Bolt out. We can Thunderclap the Torkoal. I don't think that's a bad trade at the end of the day, because I can always bring Articuno in to reset Raging Bolt. So the other thing I can always do is I can always go for a Sucker Punch into the Torkoal. I can always... Oh, there's the Iron Hands. Alright, so we're going to switch Raging Bolt out, and we're going to Detect with Urshifu here. So I really want to get that special attack drop gone, and I really want to just get as much damage off into Iron Hands and Cresselia as possible. So I can click the Blizzard. Torkoal's not here yet, so Blizzard into Iron Hands would be really nice. That Belly Drum is terrifying. That's a +6 Iron Hands, but what that does tell me is that is not an Assault Vest. So not the worst thing imaginable. There's the Lunar Blessing, so they're just going to heal right up. So that is a +6 Iron Hands, and honestly, that is really cool to see at the end of the day. But you know what I can do? I can do this. I can Haze. And let's see. I'm pretty sure my Articuno is slower than my Urshifu, which means it'll go before it. Yeah, my Urshifu is significantly faster, so probably not much of a point of going for the close combat, but we're still going to go for the close combat. We're going to try to get some huge damage off into that Iron Hands. Basically, I just have to let Articuno survive. And honestly, with that 50% boost to my defense and the bulk investment, I might be... Oh, I'm very, very okay here. So, say goodbye to Belly Drum. Okay, they went for the Urshifu, that's fine. I do have the Tera Poison on Raging Bolt, so I definitely like the idea of getting that Haze off, so we'll just remove that. Goodbye, Belly Drum. Also, it's lost its Citrus Berry, too. The snow has stopped, that's fine. I have Draco Meteor, I have Tera Poison, and you better believe I am going to pop the Tera Poison on my Articuno here. So we're going to do that, and we're going to drop that Draco. Hopefully that's enough damage, and hopefully they bring in Torkoal to give me that Photosynthesis boost. That would be nice. But yeah, I really do appreciate the Belly Drum on the Iron Hands, all things considered. I do think it's a really cool option for Iron Hands, especially with the Trick Room up on the field, but at the same time, I'm really glad I got that Haze. Now, the Earthquake's gonna hurt, but at least Articuno dodges it. Oh, Raging Bolt. I am so sorry. We landed crit, that's nice. Is this enough to pick up the Iron Hands? It is not. Oh no. Oh no. But we're gonna try to Haze away that drop, and we're gonna Thunderclap into the Iron Hands, because I'm fairly convinced this will be enough to knock it out. And they don't have a means of shutting down their priority. They do have the Detect, that's good to know. They might Ice Beam into the Raging Bolt here, though. And if they do, that's not great. So, they did. Okay, so the question here is how many turns of Trick Room do we have left, and if we can potentially land a Blizzard. So, we just went for the Haze. That's fine. Cresselia does resist me. Oh, we no longer have the Trick Room. We actually outstalled it. So, we're going to get rid of the Iron Hands here with the Articuno. Articuno is definitely putting in work. The Cresselia is just probably clicking Trick Room again. Let's be honest. Why wouldn't you with a Torkoal in the back? So, what we could do here is we can go for the Blizzard, try to get some damage. We do still have the white, or not the white, the bright powder. So, in theory, Articuno could potentially just dodge an attack as well. 4 turns of Trick Room and 5 turns of Harsh Sunlight. Let's go for a Protect right here. Let's just try to stall out a Trick Room turn. Torkoal's got Flamethrower. Okay, so good to know that they didn't have the... Oh, they have the Lunar Blessing, though. That's a problem for me. I should have known that, actually. I watched them do that with the Iron Hands. But let's click the Blizzard, see if we can get some damage. Maybe we might get a freeze. So, how much damage does this do to Articuno? Ooh, that's a one-shot. Okay, that's unfortunate, but my opponent did play that really nice. So, I am actually pretty okay with how that played out. Good game to my opponent, and honestly, that was a terrifying Iron Hands, and the Tera Fire was definitely really good on the Cresselia there, which I really cannot say anything negative about that, because it let Cresselia stay on the field long enough to set the Trick Room, not once but twice. And honestly, there's no way my Articuno was going to crack through that. So they definitely had me there. Anyways, all right, my opponent here has Iron Crown, Indeedee, Incineroar, Urshifu, Landorus, and Ogerpon. So I kind of like the Ninetales. Having the Aurora Veil go up will definitely be nice. I don't see any means of changing the weather, so Ninetales might be a strong start. I don't know if Articuno is necessarily going to be a good call for this if they lead the Indeedee Iron Crown, but maybe Urshifu would be. I think we can bring Raging Bolt in the back, and then that way we have the Snarl if we need it. Actually, I want to lead Raging Bolt. I want to have Urshifu in the back, and I'll bring Articuno in the back too, because you never know. It might not be the worst thing imaginable. Having a Dark type is certainly nice for stopping Expanding Force, so Urshifu might be needed here. And honestly, I don't really see Metagross providing too much, aside from just being 4 times resistant to Expanding Force off the Iron Crown, which Iron Crown tends to run Tera Water to get around Incineroar, so I would assume a Quark Drive boosted Tera Water Tera Blast would still hurt Metagross too. So it's actually the Urshifu and the Iron Crown into my Raging Bolt. So I want to go for my Aurora Veil, get that up, and I would love to get some big damage off into that Urshifu. Though an Icy Wind wouldn't be the worst thing imaginable either, so I think what we're going to do is we're going to go for the Icy Wind, and we're going to go for a Snarl. And then that way we can slow down Urshifu a little bit. That'll help our Urshifu in the back, and honestly, if we slow down Iron Crown, great. So this is probably Indeedee, so definitely not the worst call to preserve the Tera. And having that Snarl just lower Iron Crown's special attack is going to be wonderful. So the Assault Vest is going to be putting in some work here, but between the Assault Vest and the Icy Wind, that's a good little bit of chip into both of them. So we get a speed drop, which is the most important part of this, and we get the Snarl off. So the Snarl actually did a respectable amount of damage there. I honestly don't feel opposed to just clicking Snarl again. So Tachyon Cutter is going to come out, and unfortunately, that's going to be it for Ninetales right out of the gate, but getting that speed drop is going to be very handy at the end of the day. So we'll bring in Urshifu, and what we'll do is we'll click Detect, maybe, protect Urshifu, and then Snarl one more time. Yeah, I kind of want to do that, but at the same time, Urshifu should be fast enough. Urshifu should be fast enough. We'll go for the Indeedee slot. Actually, no. What we'll do is we'll go for the Iron Crown slot, expecting the Follow Me, and if we hit the Indeedee, great. And if we don't, I want to get that damage off into the Iron Crown ASAP. So they're going to go for their Tera immediately. This is going to be the Iron Crown. It's going to become a Water type. Man, a Thunderbolt would have been really nice here, but we went for the Snarl just to play it safe. So we'll get that off. The Wicked Blow is going to do some major damage to that Iron Crown. Snarl is not going to be enough, not quite, but it is enough to bring it down to the red. So I think what I can do here now is I can go for the Indeedee with Urshifu and just pick the Iron Crown off with a Thunderbolt. The Dazzling Gleam is going to hurt, but it's not going to hurt too bad. So we'll go for our Wicked Blow, and we'll go for our Thunderbolt. Make sure that's not Thunderclap, and this should result in a double knockout. Unless they switch something in, which is always a possibility. So, no switches, no more Indeedee, goodbye, and we still have Articuno in the back, which is going to be a little bit questionable once the snow ends, but at least it does have that defense boost. So there goes the Iron Crown. That was one big problem just removed. Very happy to see that. So we know there's the Urshifu. We haven't seen the fourth Pokemon yet. Raging Bolt's probably going to be the big thing to try to pull out the win. It's Landorus. Okay. Raging Bolt really does not like you. But what I'll do, I'll click the Sucker Punch, or not the Sucker Punch, I could Sucker Punch, because that thing is not, that thing's not grounded. We'll click the Wicked Blow, just in case, and we'll bring in the Articuno. And then this way we can always go for the Blizzard if we need it. Or the Freeze Dry. I do have the Freeze Dry for Landorus in case I need more accurate Ice-type damage. So the big question will be who's faster, their Urshifu or mine. Because if I can outspeed them and get that Wicked Blow off into Landorus, great. Articuno can just do some damage. So there's the Earth Power into the Articuno slot. I move before them. So Landorus takes a huge chunk of its HP. Raging Bolt's going to come back in here now. Unfortunately, the Assault Vest is not going to be doing Raging Bolt any favors. But if we still have a turn of snow, we can click the Blizzard into both of these Pokemon. So that is handy. So part of me wants to click the Tera Poison, but part of me knows that Earth Power is just going to knock out the Raging Bolt, so I'm just going to leave it as is. I'm going to click the Thunderbolt into you, and I'm going to click Blizzard. So here comes the Earth Power. It is enough to knock out my Raging Bolt, but Articuno is going to come in here. Do we dodge this? No, we don't. The Bright Powder is not working for us, but that did nothing. That's nice with the defense boost from the snow. Or it could just be the natural bulk of my Articuno. So, snow is stopped. My defense is down. I'm neutral to close combat. They do have a special defense drop, so we should be okay here with the freeze dry. So yeah, Articuno just hangs in there. Articuno. All right, Articuno. We didn't even need the snow there. So Urshifu goes down. Articuno secured the win. I'm very happy with how that played out. Good game to my opponent. Hey, thank you guys so much for checking out this Articuno and Ninetales team. We played 3 games, and while it was 2-1, I am very happy with how all 3 of these games played out. The one loss that I did take from my opponent was definitely a very strong showcasing of how to use Trick Room and how not to win against Trick Room, obviously, on my end. But we did have some good moments in that game. We ended up denying the Sun from the Torkoal on turn 1 with the Ninetales switch. We were able to just remove the Hisuian Lilligant by going for an Ice Shard into it to break a potential Focus Sash, and then Raging Bolt finished it off with a Draco Meteor. My opponent ended up getting in their Iron Hands and got a +6 attack with Belly Drum, which we were able to remove with Haze off of the Articuno, which was incredibly handy. Raging Bolt softened up that Iron Hands for Articuno, and Articuno did finish the job there. But they did have a Tera, Fire, Cresselia, and a Torkoal on the field, which meant my only ice attacking Articuno was not cracking through that. So unfortunately, that wasn't going to get me anywhere. And plus that Torkoal, as you guys saw, did one-shot me with a Flamethrower. So they definitely had some good damage modifiers on that Torkoal with the Sun Boost as well. And I'm honestly wondering if it might have been Choice Specs or Charcoal in the bare minimum on the Torkoal, because that Heat Wave that we initially took at the beginning of the game just did major damage to Ninetales and even Raging Bolt. So I definitely think that Torkoal definitely had some special attack modifiers working in its favor with the raw output there. And then we ended up playing against a Terrakion and Whimsicott team as well. This was one of our 2 wins here, and we were able to just turn a terrible situation into a fantastic one, because they went for beat up into a Tera Ghost Terrakion, which just nullified my close combat off of the Urshifu. They had a weakness policy, so they got the +2 attack from that. They got the 4 hits from the beat up, which meant Terrakion got an additional 4 attack boosts from its justified ability. But we were able to close combat that, or not close combat, Wicked Blow. Let's use the real name here. We Wicked Blowed it, and that just went down right there. And the nice thing here was the Metagross was able to one-shot the Whimsicott with an Iron Head because it was not Focus Sash, so we just cleared their board. Landorus came in, as well as Farigiraf. They ended up having the ally switch on the Farigiraf, which allowed them to dodge a knockoff into their Landorus, but they ended up taking a super effective knockoff into the Farigiraf as well, so it worked out at the end. And plus we ended up bringing in Articuno, and Articuno's Blizzard was able to just do some major damage to the Farigiraf. They protected with the Landorus, but they were going to take a Blizzard at the end of the day, and they ended up rage quitting. So definitely very happy with that. And then finally, in our last game, we ended up going up against Iron Crown, Indeedee, Urshifu, and Landorus. And Articuno just pulled off a phenomenal win there. That was actually the first game that I recorded, but I'm saving that for the last because I think that was the best for last case scenario. So we ended up having the Iron Crown and Urshifu lead. We snarled the Iron Crown. They switched in Indeedee, took a Icy Wind off of the Alolan Ninetales. Iron Crown finished Ninetales with a Tachyon Cutter, but then once we got rid of Iron Crown with Raging Bolt, we were able to bring in the Articuno, and it boiled down to Articuno facing down both Landorus and Urshifu. We connected a Blizzard to finish off Landorus. We did some very good damage to the Urshifu. We tanked not 1, but 2 Wicked Blows with Articuno, and Articuno finished the Urshifu off with a Freeze Dry. So, very happy with how that played out. If you guys like the team, be sure to let me know in the comments below. If you want to see some more information about the team, I will have a Pokepaste linked in the description below as well. And then that way too, if you want to build an Articuno team of your own, you can use mine as a template or a rough basis of what you can get number-wise. Or if you just want to have a drastically different team than what I did, you can use that to compare and contrast as well. Anyways, I will see you guys next time.